All right, self-compassion, another real life example. So my mother-in-law, beautiful woman, love her to death. She went to Scotland. She got shortbread. I love shortbread. I love butter. I love butter and sugar mixed together in the right quantities. But no, I've always had a soft spot for shortbread. I don't know why, it's just something about it. Oh, I love it. Well, she brought me this entire tin that's supposed to be for the family. And it's sealed. It's got little tape on it. And I'm standing there at the counter trying to yank it open. And my husband, being the wonderful person he is, says, "Would you like a pair of scissors to do that?" Because, I'm gnarling on the plastic. And I know, like deep in my gut, when I get that sucker open, it's going to be all hell breaks loose, because that's something I love. It's in a large amount. It's not singular serving. And I can tell from the way I'm messing with it that it's not going to go well. And I pause and I check in with my self-compassion and I say, "Heather, what is it you want here?" And the reality was, I am somebody who's always had a guideline that once I open something, it's hard for me to stop, right? It's hard for me to pull myself back in. I need to portion things out, put it in separate containers. And in that moment, I knew that's not where my headspace was. So I looked at him, self-compassion. "No, honey, don't give me the scissors. I'm going to go put this out of sight, out of mind." Now, he knew I was lusting after the shortbread. So he could have easily said to me, "Heather, do you really want to do that?" No, he's offering me the tool to jimmy the sucker open. And my self-compassion voice said, "What do you want right now? Is this in line with your values? Is this what you would tell somebody else to do that's looking at a ginormous container of something that they would struggle with, whether it be chips, cheese, pretzels, shortbread? It doesn't matter." And the answer is no. And so I quickly put it out of sight, out of mind, which is something I coach people to do. And I said, when I'm in a better place, probably first thing in the morning, I need to open the container, look at what a serving is, disperse it through containers, and worry about then. The compassion part was knowing what I really wanted. It was giving myself permission not to have to deal with it right now by putting it up out of sight, out of mind, and giving myself the space to make a better choice. It sitting on the counter staring at me was not leading to the better choice. Me putting it away in the top of the pantry where I won't see it, much better choice. And the self-compassion is to say, this isn't going to end well. It's like, let's look at your past. Let's make an assessment. Is this container of open shortbread going to help you or hurt you? Oh, it's not going to go well. And the love I feel for myself is like a parent. You giving your kid permission to eat an entire bag of chocolates. They may really seemingly want it in the moment. They might be like trying to tear it open, right? But as a parent, what you do is you step in and say, "Hey, honey, how are you going to feel if you eat that entire bag of chocolate? Do you think it might hurt your belly? Maybe we could just have a couple pieces. Or maybe right now is not the best time to be having that," right? It's not giving myself party permission. Have whatever you want. Self-compassion's in the house. No, it's just the opposite. It's, "Hey, babe, I know that you have these goals. I know that eating an entire tin of shortbread is not going to help you. And the mental state that you're in right now is not one that's going to lead to a good outcome." It's knowing yourself well enough to know when you're going to be putting yourself in a precarious predicament and really thinking it through. So I hope these little self-compassion things help. But do you see how I used self-compassion and yet did not eat the shortbread? The compassion doesn't lead to me going overboard with things that are harmful to me in that moment. It's the self-awareness to say, is this in line with my goals? How am I going to feel later? Am I in the best mind space to deal with this issue? Am I doing the things I know that I've said in the past I need to do, which is not have open containers of certain foods that have multiple servings, knowing that I need to portion everything out and kind of weigh it out and separate it? And the answer was, that's not where my head was. I just wanted to yank the thing open and start eating. And if I started, it would be very hard for me to stop. And just not opening the container is the win. It's not beating myself up because I felt the way I did. It's not beating myself up because that desire still exists. It's not fighting reality. It's accepting what I felt, accepting what I was facing, and making a better choice. That's self-compassion. You guys have a great one. I hope you are having a really good day. And I'd love to hear how you're making progress with self-compassion for and with yourself.